Welcome into Stoppage Time with IPJ and my man, the Bucket Man, the unicorn, the blonde bombshell. Yes, that is right. John Buckets. Hey, Buckets, how you doing, man?
Ian, I could not be doing better right now if I tried. There's nothing that could make my life better right now than being on camera once again with IPJ. It feels like it's been 2 years, but I think it's only been a couple months, right?
Yeah, it's only been a couple of months, but it feels like it's a long fucking time. And it feels so good to be back. And I was actually just staring at my monitor, so you're probably wondering, why the fuck is Ian not looking at the camera? But I just wanted to see Buckets' reaction right there because we're back and we've been talking about being back for a while now. And it feels so goddamn good to be back. But Buckets, we got a lot of explaining to do as to why we were not around for a couple of months. But before we get there, Buckets, let's check in with you, man. How you doing? Let's go through the whole thing here because it's not easy. Happy New Year to everybody, blah, blah, blah. But Buckets, talk about your life, what you've been up to, and where you're at right now.
I've been up to a whole lot in these last couple months, Ian. My goal always is to prioritize my mental health above everything. And when you and I had conversations about where we're going to end up, where we're going to live, there was one reoccurring thing every single time, and is that I had to get out of Fart Wayne. Mostly because I didn't want anyone to joke about the city name anymore, but also I wanted to be in a city with an MLS team. I wanted to be in a sports town. I wanted to be in a place with more single, attractive people around my age. That never hurts either. So I ended up moving to Columbus. I am a Columbus Crew fan. I have been my entire life, as we all know. That should surprise absolutely nobody. Everywhere you look, it is just Ohio State stuff everywhere, just a sea of scarlet and gray. And I'm happy, man. I'm in a really, really good place right now, and I'm back, baby.
Hey, listen, we're proud of you. We're happy of everything you've been doing to make sure that you take care of your mental health. And that is exactly what we request of all of our loyal listeners out there. And I just want to thank all the loyal listeners for their patience. I understand that the show ended abruptly back in the day, and I feel like we've got a lot of explaining to do. Obviously, it's been 2 months since our show last aired. It's been an interesting time. I think both of us needed a break, and Buckets pointed out why he needed one. Me too. I was looking to spend a bit more time with the family. Obviously, looking to just refresh a little bit and then maybe come back with this new energy. Hopefully, coming back with this new partner, this big ass fucking studio. But as you can see, we're stuck at home. But I'll explain why in just a minute. So let me explain what's been going on with us. Obviously, we're no longer with our previous partners. We can't thank them enough for everything they did do. They helped us create Stoppage Time. Producer Rob did so with myself and the team. And we're so thankful for everything that those guys did and girls. It was amazing. And they gave us an opportunity to be ourselves. They gave us a platform to vocalize exactly how we want to talk about soccer betting. And we actually created a bit of a fucking animal. And I don't think that they expected to see that type of a show being created, and especially with how popular it became so quickly. Considering, obviously, it's not easy in this industry, especially in the betting space. There's so much content out there that people are being very competitive. So I don't think they expected me and Buckets to produce the show with the boys like we did do. I mean, we had a hell of a team behind the scenes. We can't thank them all enough. Just fucking great humans, talented at what they do. And for us in particular, it was we wanted to make sure we did the best product for those guys as well as ourselves, but most importantly for the loyal listeners. And I think we did exactly that. So me and Buckets obviously did well. And early in 2023, the previous partner came to us and said, hey, we're going to offer you a contract extension. We want you guys to be patient. We're going to pay you accordingly, because we gave them a deal initially when we first went there because we wanted to be on air for the World Cup. And it was an amazing contract extension. We were looking forward to it. Buckets was going to move up to New York. He was going to finally get some paper, and he deserved that because he's been working really hard on his craft. And unfortunately, what happened was, there was a new partner came in and bought their previous partner, and therefore made it complicated. And therefore, me and Buckets were forced to wait and wait and wait and wait. And that's why we were kept on joking around about Buckets moving to New York. And it was just one of those things that just kept progressing down the line way too long, and eventually it hit the head where we have to make a decision, they have to make a decision, and I felt like the best decision for myself and Buckets and for Stoppage Time was for us to step away from that partner. They also decided it was the right time to step away from us and focus on other things. And for me and Buckets, it was then becoming a battle for us to get the name Stoppage Time, our show. We wanted all of the followers, the loyal listeners, the followers on social media, and the name, which I believe is a bit of a brand, and it means something to me and Buckets. It took 2 fucking months, Buckets, but we finally got it, baby.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit more of a struggle than we probably expected. Ian, I know that you took kind of the brunt force of that and had to deal with a lot more of the conversations on the side. I was just kind of sitting here, just waiting to get back, man. But we've been working very, very hard this past couple of months because Ian and I, one thing I can promise you is we will never half-ass anything. You're never going to see us put out a show that we do not believe is 100% the best content we can make for all of you. So as we kind of learn these new things together, I'm just excited to be in a position to where we can say, this is how we're doing things. This is what we believe is right, and following what you and I believe in, because we are both dreamers, Ian, and we are going to make this thing massive.
While I was at war trying to get our name stoppage time, or in battle trying to get our name stoppage time, we were approached by multiple people about taking our show. One in particular caught my attention, was a serious player, a serious player in the game. And we almost had a deal done, Buckets, to take our show there. But one thing is for sure, we've got to make sure that the partner's right, that there's a vision for the long term for this show, because I don't want to keep moving around left, right, and center. It's not fair to our loyal listeners. And one thing we talked about is, how can we basically give our loyal listeners the best possible product for free? Because something never changed from me and you, and that was always that our loyal listeners deserved the product, deserved the content, deserved our energy, and they shouldn't have to pay for that. That fucking philosophy and idea will remain the same. That will never ever change, and I know how important that is for you, Buckets.
That was something that we talked about day one after we ended up transitioning away from the old place. We said, hey, no matter what happens, the loyal listeners come first. I don't care what offers we get. If anyone tries to charge them, that is not a conversation we're going to have. And we had a couple offers that was like, hey, we love your brand. We love what you're doing. If we can charge your viewer to... the conversation stopped immediately, because our goal is always what it has been. It's to create entertaining and educational content and to share the best damn game on the planet with as many people as we can for free, Ian.
We will eventually find that partner, but until then, we didn't want to wait any longer. We fucking missed you guys. We missed the loyal listeners so much. I missed you, Buckets, as well. It's been a step into 2024 now, and there's a lot to look forward to. And in 2024, before I get into it, I mean, it was so important, Buckets, that even though right now what we're doing is we tried to get a team together behind the scenes that can get the show out there to you as easy as possible and free. It's not easy to do that. Fortunately, we found some really great people that we love and care about and are willing to go the extra mile to help us. Fucking thank you to every single one of them. And I think all the loyal listeners should thank them. They'll remain nameless. But at the same time, we can't thank them enough for giving us the opportunity to put this show out there for our loyal listeners. We're not getting paid right now. And we are doing this for our loyal listeners because we fucking love doing this show. And we know eventually it's going to be a big player in the game and we'll eventually get paid accordingly. But until fucking then, this show stays where it's at right now. Me and Buckets doing it just for you, and that's what means the fucking world to us, Buckets.
It means everything. And as Ian mentioned, we got offers to take money, to kind of not throw anyone under the bus by any means, but to do things how we didn't really want to do them. And it just wasn't even an option for us. So the show will always be free. We're not getting paid, and I am totally okay with that, Ian, because I'm going to put every spare second I have into this project with you, because I truly believe, I'm not going to give a timeline because I don't want to jinx it or anything, we're going to be taken care of in the future.
Well, there's a lot coming up, and I'll discuss that in just a quick second. But as you can see, we've got a new YouTube page, so please go and subscribe and comment and jump in, and the good conversation starts again. We obviously love subscribers, and before we even put a show out there, before you even watch this episode, how many fucking subscribers did we have, Buckets?
We're at like 580 on the new channel right now.
580. There wasn't even a fucking show out there. How great is that? But at the same time, it means a lot to us that the loyal listeners are demanding and wanting content, and we want to produce it for you as well. We're going to do our best to do it with the highest quality. It won't always look like this, but we'll try to make sure that once a week we give you something. We give you because we know you demand, and at some point we know that the quality will come back. We'll have a studio. Buckets will be hopefully next to me, and we can actually create a real show that's here for the long term. And until we fucking get the right offer and the right opportunity with the right partner, that's not going to happen.
Yep.
Now, Buckets, 2024 is fucking massive. Here's what to look forward to. We have the end of the domestic football campaign in Europe, of course, the top 5 European leagues. We also have the Champions League and European competitions to look forward to, which is insane. Then we've got Euro 2024 to look forward to in the summer. The stage is set for that major international tournament. It's taking place in where, Buckets?
Germany.
It's taking place in
I'm
fucking
so
Germany.
nervous.
God damn, it's going to be awesome. Then we got the Olympics. Soccer plays a big role now in the Olympics, an under 23 event, but at the same time, it's fucking cool. So we'll be tuning into that. And Copa America takes place in North America, in the United States of America. Obviously, Messi with Argentina and the US men's national team are in the mix with that as well. So the tournament is going to be a massive one this year. So what are we doing now, Buckets? We're trying to rebuild a little bit of our empire because at one point we felt untouchable. We were certainly untouchable on the betting side of things. So congratulations to everybody in 2023 who made money. But now, without fail, we're going to try and produce one show a week for everybody out there until we find our partner. And then when that partner comes in, we'll give you more shows. But until then, I feel like one show is enough, Buckets, that we can give to everybody. Certainly from a production side of things, we don't want to ask too much from our secret partners who are helping us. But at the same time, we want to make sure that at least once a week we give you content, and we'll try to bring you as much betting as possible. I think we're going to be betting heavy from now on until the end of the summer because there's so much fucking games going on, so many tournaments, so many soccer games. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. And again, I go back to it. We're going to be very betting heavy, and I know that satisfies my man, John Buckets Eimer.
That makes me very happy, Ian. And as he mentioned, once a week right now, but the importance to subscribe to things like our YouTube channel and even our Instagram and things like that, because I will be posting content constantly throughout the weeks. If we don't have a show on Tuesday, you bet your ass that I will still provide a Tuesday Twos for everyone. It'll just be in the form of a YouTube short, Instagram reel. I got to learn all this stuff because I'm almost 30 now, Ian. Getting up there, but we'll make sure that even though it's one show a week, you will be getting content from us 7 days a week, Ian. So just get ready for that.
Okay, so let's get into that real quickly before we discuss a little bit of betting, because obviously this is our introduction. We'll talk about what's been going on and how we are all across our shows over the next weeks and months. But at the same time, you've been busy, Buckets, because this is your show, your baby. And of course, I've got 3 babies, but at the same time, this is my 4th baby. But this is your big baby and your opportunity to really be creative here with Stoppage Time. So, what should people out there be doing? Where should they be following? When can they expect content? And where should they be expecting content? Take it away.
You should follow us absolutely everywhere, Ian. I am learning things even like TikTok, which I sound old right now saying it like that, but I am learning to post on TikTok. We're going to be posting on Instagram, Instagram stories, Instagram reels. We'll be on YouTube. We'll be on YouTube Shorts. Hell, I might open a Stoppage Time OnlyFans. I don't know at this point. I'm going to bring us content everywhere that it is possible, but I want you to expect every morning is kind of what I'm shooting for right now. You will get an additional bet on Instagram. You will get an additional daily bet on the YouTube Shorts. It will not be the official full video, but I will make sure that we give you as much Stoppage Time content as humanly possible moving forward.
And what's that handle that they should be following on the social media platforms?
FCStoppage Time, baby.
It's a pretty cool fucking name.
That's
Who came up with
name.
that?
Oh, I think it was you. Yeah, it was you.
Listen, I'm going to give you the platform for just a quick minute because we're going to get into betting, and it will be a bit betting heavy this show as well because I don't want to let the loyal listeners down. There's not much to really get excited about this weekend. We do have FA Cup and a few other cup competitions. That's enough for me. But at the same time, Buckets, this is your show. This means the world to you. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to just take it away, man, and let everybody know what you've been doing, what you've been working on, and of course, what to expect coming forward and how grateful you are to our secret team behind the scenes.
Let's start by saying thank you again to our secret team who will remain unnamed. This just isn't possible right now without them. They are incredible. They are incredibly good looking. It is a great group of people, but that's all we're going to say here, Ian. But what you can expect from me moving forward in the betting space is what you've always had. I pride myself on being the type of bettor that does not need the big leagues to find value for us. I know that coming up in the next week, we don't have EPL, we don't have Bundesliga, we don't have Liga. We're missing a lot of the big European powerhouses, and I do not care. I will give you Spakenburg bets, Spankenberg, Spaken, whatever they're actually called. I will give you second Bundesliga bets. I will give you Greece and Cyprus Super League bets. I will work through every single country on the planet to find us the best value possible, and I will stop at nothing to do that, Ian.
And I'm never going to stop saying the word fuck because I enjoy saying the word fuck. And this is our show, fucking stoppage time. And we are fucking back, baby. You know, it would never be an episode of Stoppage Time if we didn't get some wagers from our betting expert. That is, of course, John Buckets. Eimer. Hey, Buckets, we do have some good games to look forward to. There is no Bundesliga and Premier League, but let's get into it. We got the FA Cup this weekend. We got Copa del Rey. We got Coupe de France. We've got Serie A, among other games that I know Buckets is probably weirdly betting on as well. But Buckets, I want 4 bets from you. We're going to go back to back. I'm going to obviously jump in between bets and give you my opinion as well. And then at the end of those 4 Buckets, maybe I'll provide a little best bet as well. So let's get best bet number 1, please.
Best bet number 1 is going to be starting with that Serie A matchup that I know we love so much here, Ian. We've got Frosinone taking on AC Monza. And Frosinone is a very complicated team because they are newly promoted this season. So you would think they're going to struggle. They're going to get their butts kicked a bit. They might just stay above relegation. We don't know what they're going to do. But Frosinone, specifically at home, has been unstoppable. They have not won on the road yet, so do not touch them if they are traveling. If they're on the road, this is not a team you back. But when they're playing at home, my God, there's something special. They're taking points off of teams like Atalanta. They're scoring against Inter and AC Milan. They're taking points off Napoli. This team, for whatever reason it is, it just doesn't matter. When they're playing at home, they are a force to be reckoned with. I know that AC Monza is a tough side. This is a very almost military-esque side. They do things by the book. They're very intense. They're very defensive-minded. And they're one of the teams that is averaging less than 1 goal conceded per game in Serie A, which is not common right now in Italy. However, I cannot do anything but back Frosinone here. I can get Frosinone draw no bet. I know we remember this from our show earlier. That gives us that safety net of a push right now at minus 115. I think this game could very well end in a draw, but then our bet pushes. And I do, if I had to lean one way or the other, I lean Frosinone here. So I got to take that line at minus 115, Ian.
Frosinone.
Oh, and I said it like 8 times too.
Frosinone.
Do I have to do that with the hand?
Frosinone.
Frosinone. Yeah. Okay. Frosinone versus Monza. Was that right?
Yeah, Monza. It's not a bad one, actually. I quite like this bet as well. Although I will say this, though. Frosinone, as you mentioned, they're not necessarily the most consistent team. They don't win many games. They're terrible on the road. But at home, obviously, they can pick up a result. I will say this, though. The one game I did watch them from start to finish, because I haven't watched much of them, was when they played in the Coppa Italia.
Oh.
And they fucking spanked Napoli 4-0 away from home. And they scored 4 goals in the second half. That was, to me, an outstanding performance. And, of course, Napoli were in dire straits after that. So I'm really intrigued to see how this bet hits, Buckets, but I fucking like it. Let's get to your best bet number 2, please.
For our best bet number 2, we're going to be going to the FA Cup. And I got another weird one for you here, Ian. I'm looking at Sunderland versus Newcastle United. And I'm following, again, kind of the opposite trend of what Frosinone does. Newcastle on the road is horrible. They are embarrassing. This is an injury-riddled side that cannot put together a win while traveling to save their life. Their record on the road this season, and keep in mind, this is a top half of the table EPL side, is 1 win, 2 draws, 7 losses. 1, 2, and 7 right now. This team is just getting the shit kicked out of them right now when they travel. At home, again, they're like Frosinone, phenomenal 8-0-2 record. Newcastle is tough. But I am not backing a Newcastle team on the road in an FA Cup game that they maybe won't care about and will rotate because they're focused on getting a top 4 EPL spot here as well. And Sunderland, even though they're division lower, their fans are rowdy. This is a team that any kind of silverware they can get, they are going to take. And so what I'm going to do here, again, a little bit complicated, but Sunderland double chance is plus 140, Ian. Sunderland to win the match or to draw the match. And keep in mind, this is at the end of regulation time, is plus 140. I just refuse to do anything but fade Newcastle when they're traveling right now. This for me is a bit of a no-brainer, and I know there's obviously discrepancy in leagues. It's a cup game. It could get messy, but I'm not going to turn down a plus 140 here.
The beauty of our show, Stoppage Time, is the fact that we can say what we want when we want, and we can also disagree, Buckets.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to comment on this one because there's more for me on that game a little later on in the show. Buckets, I also want one best parlay from you for this weekend. If I could hear you, that would be great.
Let's try this again. I've got one best parlay for you here, and I'm going to the Portuguese Primera division, where we have a big matchup between SC Braga and Vitória SC. And I'm doing a bit of a same game parlay type of vibe here because SC Braga has been one of my favorite teams on the planet to bet on right now. This is a team that is averaging almost 3 goals scored per game by themselves and are not playing defense at all. 39 goals scored this season in 15 matches with 22 conceded. This is a team they can be up 2-0, 3-0, and they will never park the bus. They will never slow down. They will keep just grinding for points and grinding for goals here. Vitória SC has had an impressive start to their season with 4 games now without a loss. This is a team that is just 3 points behind SC Braga and is another very offensive-minded team. They're a bit more defensive, only 17 goals conceded so far this season. But when you play SC Braga, you take both teams to score. However, both teams to score is minus 160. So same game parlay that with over 2.5 goals. It gets you to those sexy plus 110 odds that we love so much for a matchup that I think Ian could have 4 or 5 goals in this one.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their head-to-head as well. And if you look at the last 2 head-to-heads away from home for Braga, it was 2-1. And then you had the 2-1 back in 2022 February as well. So really interesting to see that one. I like that bet a lot, Buckets. And of course, I enjoy watching Braga play. Anytime they play, I'll watch them. Especially in European competition, they were fun to watch. And of course, they don't have much chance because they don't spend a lot of money to be able to be competitive. But domestically, they've made it interesting. So quite like that bet, Buckets. I might have a little tail of that one as well. This one I'm excited about, Buckets. What about your player best bet for this weekend?
The player best bet was tricky for me because we've got a longtime viewer named Martin McCauley who absolutely loves when we talk Bundesliga, Ian. But obviously, we don't have any Bundesliga right now. But I still wanted to take care of our boy Martin. So I'm looking at the match with Inter Milan here, and I'm taking for a player bet here Marcus Thuram to assist. This is at plus 240, so a bit of a weird angle here, but we are finally welcoming back Lautaro Martinez to Inter, who has been struggling with some fitness goals. He has been the absolute man in front of the goal. 15 goals in his 15 starts, but a lot of those goals are coming from a Marcus assist. Marcus, if you did not know, used to play for Mönchengladbach, so there's kind of the Bundesliga tag there. But again, this is a guy who is the top assister on the team right now. Assister? That doesn't sound like a word. 6 assists in his 15 starts for the club. I think that if somebody is going to get an assist, there's a good chance it comes from him. I also think Inter could get 3 or 4 goals here against Hellas Verona. So if you're going to see 3 or 4 goals like that, pretty good shot that one of them comes from our boy Marcus. Ian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like this one, and I think Marcus Thuram is playing some interesting football. And actually, I would go as far as to say, I understand his stats last year at Gladbach were very good, but this is the best football I've seen him play in his whole career. Like, and he is someone who is obviously involved in the French national team. He's someone who is a tremendous goal scorer. But as Buckets pointed out there, he has a real eye for creation, and he has been one of the best additions to Serie A this season. And he's playing his best football. So I absolutely love that one, Buckets. It's great to hear you back betting. Did it feel good preparing your bets for this show?
I can honestly say that even though it was 4 bets and it was pretty quick explanations, this is the most time I've ever put into preparing bets because I knew this was going to be the first show back. I would be damned if I did not look through every single FA Cup match, every single Serie A match, every single Kazakhstani Premier League match. I looked through every single one to get the absolute best bets here, Ian, and I miss this so much, man.
Yeah, it's great to be back. It's great to be back alongside you, listening to you, obviously, and producing stoppage time for our people. And we will continue to do it once a week, everybody. So make sure you tune in. I think it's just going to be out on YouTube. I don't know what we've got planned. If we can put it on podcast, we will. But on YouTube right now, it'll rock and roll. So enjoy it, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the fun fucking things that you do, and we'll continue to produce the best possible soccer betting content we can. Buckets, are you ready for my best bet for this weekend? Because I know I've already given you a little hint that it's going against one of yours.
Yep, I'm nervous, but let's give it a shot here, Ian.
I'm nervous too, Buckets. Fuck it. Let's get in. It's great to be back, everybody. Here's my best bet for this weekend. It is, of course, turning to the FA Cup. The FA Cup Double Trouble, this one is called. Maybe that's a hint to stay away from this fucking bet. 2-leg parlay I'm turning my attention to. Tottenham against Burnley and Newcastle at Sunderland. Now, my best bet here is Spurs and Newcastle both to win. So it's a 2-leg parlay. It is currently sitting at plus 144 on the sports books. I'm not mentioning any names because at some point I'm going to take all their motherfucking money. But at the same time, it's plus 144. Everybody take notice of this. It was plus 156 yesterday. So already we're seeing the line move. Here's my reasoning why. Spurs, they're 5th in the table in the Premier League, 39 points, scored 42, let in 29. At home, unfavored fucking defeated. Played 10, won 7, drawn 0, lost 3, scored 20 goals, and let in only 13, which is pretty impressive right there. The last 5 games for Spurs, won 4, scored 13, let in 7. Pretty good, actually. Winning 4. They're back to winning ways. They are such an attack-minded team. It's insane. Love watching Anne Postecoglou create with this team because they love going forward. They love being creative. They love, obviously, getting the ball early and getting after you quickly. In that first 45 minutes, expect a goal from Tottenham as well. They create so many chances. I don't think the opposition knows what to do. Don't forget, there's no European games coming from them. So that's helping Spurs with this mindset of being attacking, being offensive-minded. Also, Big Ange, man, he takes cup games seriously. Watch what he did at Celtic. He took it incredibly seriously. They're going up against Burnley, who are 19th in the league. They've won only 3 games. They've lost 15 games, which is dreadfully poor. They scored only 20. They've let in 41. Away from home, they're not too terrible. They're pretty terrible. They've won 2 from 10, and they've scored 10 goals away from home from those games, and they've let in 17 goals. This game takes place on a Friday, this Friday. So please, for the love of God, don't miss this bet. Don't wait. Don't sit on it. If you hear I'm watching the show before the game takes place, enjoy the parlay because Newcastle comes up the day later. But if you do miss this bet, don't worry about the next one as well because it's quite tasty for everybody out there. Newcastle against Sunderland. Sunderland are at home, so Newcastle obviously on the road. It's the Premier League against the Championship. I'm really excited about this one, but this is a rivalry game. This is the game in the northeast of England where the fans fucking hate each other. Oh, yes, they do. I can't wait for this game. It's a derby game, and that's why I'm excited to say that I think Newcastle are going to win. On the money line right now, Newcastle, they're minus 135. That's pretty good. Away from home, Newcastle against a championship team, you can make money there. But bet responsibly, everybody, if you're going for the parlay. Newcastle not in great form, as Bucket's already pointed out. They lost 7 of the last 8 across all competitions. That makes me nervous. It's scary bad, but this is a derby. Let me remind you. In the Premier League, they're 9th in the table now. They've won 9, they've lost 9, they've scored 39 goals, which is great. But they've let in 29 goals, and that's crazy in the Premier League. Considering all of last season, Newcastle, they let in only 33 goals the whole season. So to have conceded 29 already, and we're only halfway through the season, that's a little scary. Last 10 games head-to-head against Sunderland, Newcastle's record's not great either. They've won only 1 of them. They've lost 6 of them. But let me remind you, Newcastle haven't beaten Sunderland since 2011. So you're asking me, why the fuck are you going for this parlay, Ian? Because I'm crazy. But also, I'm going to point out, all of those games were in the English Premier League when Sunderland had better players and they were competing in the Premier League. Now, they're no longer there. They're now in the Championship. They're a class away and not anywhere near where Newcastle are. Newcastle are a Champions League team. We've clearly seen that. They were unfortunate in the Champions League, but they're a Champions League fucking team. And they deserve to be in the top 4 as well, as far as I'm concerned, for the squad that they've got. Who are Sunderland? They're 6th in the Championship. They've won only 12 from 26 games. And they're still 6th in the Championship. They've won only 12 games from 26. It's not bad, but it's not great. They've lost 10 games. They've scored 36. They've let in 28. Defensively, they are tough. But this Newcastle team, they're a Champions League team, as I pointed out already. Everyone's predicting that this is going to be a shock, like my man John Bucket's at. But I don't think so. I'm going for Newcastle. I'm going for Tottenham. And I'm going to take my plus numbers, and I'm going to run all the way to the bank. So just a reminder for everybody out there, my bet here is for Spurs and Newcastle both to win, plus 144. Shove that down your pipe and smoke it, Buckets.
You know what this means, Ian, is that on the very first show back, it is impossible for us to sweep. We cannot have a 5-0 opening on the show, which is fine.
I fucking love it.
That's not a bad thing at all because we will never hold back our responses to each other. I know you disagree with me. I disagree with you. And that's important on the show to not just say, like, sure, that's fine. No, I think that bet will lose, Ian, because my bets are going 4-0, but I guess we'll have to wait this weekend to see.
Fucking love you, buddy. It's great to be back, man. How does it feel for you?
Oh, it feels a bit surreal, if I'm being honest. You know, there's always that thought in the back of your mind where it's like, maybe the show doesn't come back. You know, maybe it was a fun little 1-year thing and we move on, but here we are. And now that we're here, it's never going away again.
before we say goodbye to everyone, 2023 was a very good year for me. It was a bit of a roller coaster year as far as the betting goes. I went really high up with my units. Then I went really, 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 really low with my units. And then I ended up just a little bit up for 2023. And I don't bet anywhere near the numbers that you bet, Buckets. How was your betting 2023 overall?
Man, the betting might have been the only good part about 2023 for me. It was a rough year. It was a lot going on in the personal life, a lot going on with my health and wellness and all that stuff. But the betting pulled through, which is good because I'm a bit of a betting expert. So hopefully that's something that we can find consistency. I ended up significantly up for the new year. I went back and checked some stats. I don't have exact numbers, but I did find out that I placed over 2,500 wagers in 2023. So I'm a bit of a I mean, I've shown it on the show before. I like my high wagers. I love my live betting. But overall, I know that in the year, I eclipsed at least 75 units over the year, which for me is being someone who only bets one unit at a time. I'm not going to be mad at that at all.
Yeah, that's important to remind everybody there to bet responsibly. Obviously, see the numbers the Buckets is putting out there, but he's only betting one unit each time, which is absolutely brilliant that you remain disciplined like that. Buckets, before we do go, can we get a little bit more of a life update? You left the other place,
Yep.
Wayne. You left Wayne.
Left
Fort
Wayne.
Wayne. You're now in Columbus, Ohio, which is it's famous for obviously a lot of students being around there. I can only imagine that the John Buckets Eimer loves a student. So how's your dating life going?
I knew we couldn't go a new show without bringing up my dating life, so I prepped for this. And I've got no comment on the student thing at all in any capacity. I will say that just like I living in near the downtown area, whenever I take Freya on a walk, I fall in love 5 or 6 times during a walk. A lot of very, very attractive people here in Columbus. So good job, Ohio. You guys are killing it in that front. But as far as the dating life is concerned, nothing serious, nothing really happening yet. I'm kind of taking it a bit slow, finding myself first, falling in love with myself first. Ian, you get all of that. But at the same time, I have gone on a singular date, and that went well. That was fun.
How did it end?
With a second date coming up next week.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But
Very
it was
nice, very
nothing but class. Nothing but class for me.
That's all I needed to hear, man. Is especially when you're looking after yourself better. I like to hear those types of things, and I will never ever stop asking you about your fucking dating life. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching Stoppage Time. Thank you so much for everything you have done for us in 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. We're in 2024. It's a new year. It's a new opportunity. It's a new beginning, and it's a new beginning for Stoppage Time. We're going down a different path, and in the meantime, what we're doing is creating a bit of a buzz with our show Stoppage Time. Go make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you're following on social media. Buckets is getting incredibly creative on social media, and he's enjoying the process as well as he learns. So we're going to shove fucking content down your fucking throat as much as you can take. Buckets, this is no reference to your dating game. We're going to make sure we get the content out there as much as we possibly can, and we're going to make sure you get the best possible soccer betting content in your face so that you're making the right plays, so that you're not taking stupid picks from people who are charging you hundreds of dollars to take their picks and place wagers. That's not our game. We're here as a fucking family. You, the loyal listeners, are a massive part of our family, and me and Buckets are going fucking nowhere. We will have a partner soon, and that partner will come in, and we will make sure we bring you 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes a week. Whatever the partner and we decide to do, that's what we're going to try and bring to you. We're going to bring as much content as we possibly can. But in the meantime, Buckets is on CBS. I'm on CBS. We fucking love it there. We're going to continue to do our shit there. I love what I'm doing with the CBS Sports Galazzo Network. It's awesome. Great people, good leadership. Really enjoying the process there, helping them grow that network. And I've got great ideas there as well as how they can improve. And hopefully we can continue to go in the right direction. And Buckets is battling away. Obviously on the early edge, you can catch him almost daily, Buckets, right? 4 times a week?
Every day but Wednesday, yep.
Every day but fucking Wednesday. On Wednesday, he goes on his dates. So every day but Wednesday, catch Buckets on the early edge. We are available to you on our own social media platforms at JoyPaulIan. You will see me being put out there on FCStoppageTime on the social media platforms as well. And Buckets, what's your handle?
Bucket John Betts, Ian.
Bucket John Dates. There you go, everybody. Make sure you go follow Buckets as well on his social media platform. And please make sure you're doing your best to share the show as much as you possibly can. We like the likes, we like the subscribes, we like the comments. You know I fucking love the comments, and the best ones will make it out there on our show. Let's get the numbers up, people, because we fucking love you. Make sure you continue to enjoy the show as much as you possibly can. This felt fucking good. Being back in the chair alongside my partner, my co-host John Buckets Eimer, is fucking amazing. Buckets, before I say goodbye in the appropriate manner, like I always do, why don't you just give a last word?
Little last word here. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the Instagram, follow whatever it's called on TikTok. I don't know. But as I mentioned, especially if you're a fan of things like the Tuesday Twos or maybe some live wagers, I will be pumping out more content that you could even handle, Ian, every single week. So get ready because the stoppage time takeover is happening.
Let's grow this motherfucker. As always, this is your show, loyal listeners. It's in the capable hands of you and myself and John Buckets Eimer. We're having fun. We're absolutely having a ball with this. We've got great people behind us who are helping us with this process right now. And eventually we'll have more money, we'll have more budget to play with that will be able to bring you better content, more content, and obviously better surroundings and more shows. Hopefully we can do that in the near future. But until then, once a week, the show is coming your way. As always, make sure you bet responsibly. And as always, like John Buckets Eimer has been doing in Columbus, Ohio, make sure you absolutely have it.